And today we have Mr. Colby Spangler and his supported decision-making team, or as he calls it, his dream team. For anyone who is unfamiliar with a supported decision-making team, or SDM, as you might hear today, this is an alternative model to guardianship or more restrictive options once someone turns 19 in the state of Alabama. An SDM gives a person a team they can count on to help support and counsel them in areas of community and long-term living. Today, Colby is going to introduce a number of his dream team members, and we will get to see what those interactions look like behind the scenes. Mr. Spangler, Colby Spangler, is currently on vacation with friends up north, so we are doing this broadcast over Zoom. Mrs. Kim Spangler, Colby's mom, will be DJing for us today, introducing guests, and at this time, I would like to hand it over. Kim, if you would like to take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. We are so excited to do this broadcast with Colby's Dream Team. We've been waiting on this day to get here, and it's finally here. So we're super happy to introduce everybody to our superstars. They are all truly experts at what they do, and we think you're going to really enjoy meeting them and learn about their personal and their professional backgrounds and how those roles fit in to Colby's supportive decision-making team. We are going to do short little interviews with Colby and each team member. And as we go forward, we hope that you'll pay close attention to the names of the people, the roles that they support Colby with each domain of decisions, and learn a little bit more about how you can do this too. We think it's a really great alternative to guardianship, and you'll kind of see that it's a really good means of support for anybody with an intellectual developmental disability, so that we can kind of extend those natural supports within the community. So I'm going to start with the first set of questions, because I'm on Colby's Dream Team myself, and I'm going to be supporting his roles in the way of community living. So Colby, we prepared these scripts together, and you wrote out the words that we were going to talk about, and the one-on-one meeting that we have that talks about your supported decisions and your supportive roles within the community and how you want to live independently. So I'm going to ask you some of the questions that we had in our one-to-one meeting, and then you're just going to give me your answers, just like we did a few weeks ago. Are you ready? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Say something so I can hear you.
Yes,
okay.
I do.
All right, we got you. All right, here we go. So the first question I have, Colby, is can you tell everybody what you do, where you work, and where you go to school?
I work at Levis at Lee Ranch, Levis.
Mm-hmm. Where do you go to school?
I go to the University of Alabama.
You attend the University of Alabama, you work at Publix, very good. And one of your independent living goals is to move out of the dorms and live where?
Apartments.
In an apartment. Very nice. All right. And so when we had our one-to-one meeting, you had a set of questions from me that were from the life course tools. So can you read your first question that you asked?
First. Oh. Will you tell everyone how we know each other and what is your first impression of me was?
Okay, so I've known you for 22 years now. My first impression has been that you've been a go-getter, right? And then your next question was asking me about what I do, right? Question number 2.
Can you talk about the first team meeting dinner we had with everyone and what you remember from it?
I can. So our first inaugural Dream Team meeting was really close to your birthday back in February, right before the whole world shut down for COVID. Remember that? And we kind of had a birthday party for you, brought our team together and said, here is Colby's dreams and goals and visions. This is what he wants out of life. And here's how we think each of you, when we were talking to the team members, each of you can fit into that and help support some of his decisions in those areas. So we went over the life course tools with them. We talked about all the different domains. And then we asked them to share what they thought their contribution would be to your team. And we ended the night with a birthday cake, and we gave gifts to the dream team members, and the dream team members gave gifts to you. And it was kind of just like a big meet and greet. Let's come together and do this party. So it was celebratory in that it worked out. The timing was great with your birthday, but also that we were going to be among some of the first families in our state to get to have and develop a supported decision-making team with you. So we got really excited about that. All right, so real quick, next question for me.
Will you tell everyone what your title is on my team and what that means?
Yeah, so I am filling the shoes of the role that is community living. So I go out into the community with you, and we talk about places that you're interested in living. We find those places and we figure out a game plan for how to make that happen, because you've been very clear that when you graduate from college, you want to live on your own or with roommates. You don't want to move back home with mom and dad. So that's where we are right now, and I'm supporting that decision you've made. And I'm proud to say this coming August, you're moving into your first apartment there on campus at Alabama. So that's exciting. We're meeting some goals, and we're making a lot of progress in that area. What's your next question?
So if I came to you and had questions about how to find low income housing, or I want to talk about getting my own place to live and find roommates, or using support to help me with living more independent, those things we could talk about, right?
Absolutely. Everything you just described are some of the things we talk about on a day-to-day basis, and then in a more formal way when we have our face-to-face meetings. So all of those things and more. It's a strategy-based conversation, and it's supported by the life course tools, and it's driven by what you tell us are your goals and your visions. So we're going to skip all, for the sake of time, so we can get on to everybody, we're going to skip all the way to question number 11, and then we will wrap it up.
Wait. Oh. Can you remember the worksheets we fill out and what options were for my answers? Do you think that is a good way to understand what kind of support I may need when I make decisions?
I do. The life course tools has a template, and as soon as we fill those out, it kind of helped us guide the conversation for the decisions you were making. You tell us if you need a little support or a lot of support, or kind of somewhere in between all that, and that's how we move forward. So look at page number 5, and we're going to wrap it up so we can move on. And on page number 5, you got one last question for me. Number 11.
Do you know of any others who have a team supporting change makers? And do you think this is a good way to support people with disabilities?
I do know a few people. I really don't know of anyone in Alabama right now. I'm sure they're out there, but we probably just haven't met yet. But I know a few people in other states. We met and talked to a family in Missouri. We know of a family in Louisiana, and they're doing a lot of the same things that we're doing here. Their teams, one team is a little bit smaller than ours, and another team is only 3 people. So there's lots of different ways that people are using team agreements and teams on supportive decision making. But the fact is, it's out there. It's new and it's evolving, but it's out there. And it's a really exciting thing, and I can't wait to see more of it. All right. All right. What do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you, Colby. We'll see you next time. You're going to move on to our next person on your team. Who is that?
Up next, I want to everyone to meet Heidi Martin. She is a COVID healthcare hero. Hey, Heidi.
Hey, how are you this morning, Colby?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
All right. What questions do you have for me this morning, Colby?
Can you tell everyone what job do you on my team? What is your job and your background of experience?
Yes. So on your team, I am in charge of and overseeing with you your healthy living. And so we talk about any kind of activities that you're doing and making sure that you're going to the doctor and the dentist. And we just talk about your overall health, make sure you're eating right, brushing your teeth, participating in events, and any kind of things like that. So I feel like that's my job on your team. My background of experience, I'm an ER nurse, and I've been a nurse for 13 years.
How many years have you and I known each other? How did we meet?
So I have 2 children by the name of Tori and Tyler that are 20, and your sweet mom was their preschool teacher a long time ago. So 17 years is how long we've known each other. And Tori and Tyler have grown up with you and your brother Camden. And y'all used to all play together and hang out with each other. And we've seen y'all throughout all the events at Oak Mountain and the parks at Herdmont and all that. So we've known each other quite a while, haven't we, Colby?
When you came to our first Dream Team meetings at my house, what was your favorite part?
The favorite part about the Dream Team for me was being a part of a group and a community that was going to be here to support you, Colby. I feel like this is a wonderful opportunity for you. And I think that with this team that we will be able to assist you to be able to live on your own and be as independent as possible. And I think that with your supportive team, that you will go far in life and make the best decisions.
We give you a hip pad rest release, which means you can see my medical results and help me understand what the doctors are saying, or even go on a doctor appointment with me if I need you there. How do you feel about that?
I feel very empowered. I feel like it's going to help me to make the best decisions with you about your health care. I'm always open and available to go with you. And I hope that you know that you can always call me if you feel uncomfortable. After we met the other night and had our meeting, we talked a lot about, different doctor's appointments that we needed to make and follow up and things like that. So I feel very empowered, and I think that it's a very good decision that, if you or mom or dad have any questions about anything, if I'm not at that doctor's appointment, that that you can feel free to reach out to me. And if there is a question, with me having access to your records, I can review doctor's appointments, lab values, any x-ray or radiology reports or things like that to help you all make the best decisions for you, Colby.
when we met in person one-on-one to talk about my changes for staying healthy, what did you think about the questions on the worksheets and we did together?
I really like the questions. I think it gives you and I an opportunity to talk and make sure that we're on the same page with your healthcare. And obviously, I want to give you the opportunity to make the decisions that you feel you can. If there's a question about something, I feel like you and I are open enough to talk. There was one question you kind of wanted to skirt around, and I brought it back up the other night and told you that we would talk about a lot of different things, and some of them may be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's what I was here for, was to help you make healthy life choices. So I really appreciate the questions. I feel like it guides us to make sure that we're covering our bases and not getting off on a tangent, but at the same time, the questions are really important. It talks about your nutrition, your health and well-being, and doctor's appointments and what you feel comfortable with. So I think that helps me understand where you are and the decisions that you're making and want to make in the future, whether with me or if you feel like you can do it on your own.
Okay. Can you there with everyone a fill temple of the questions?
Yes. So like I said earlier, we talked about when you needed to go to the doctor and dentist, and we talked about you needing an annual checkup, and that's something that you need to do every year, and that we need to go to the dentist twice a year. We need to go to the eye doctor at least once a year unless there's a change. There's another question that says, can I make serious medical choices in serious situations such as surgery and big injuries? And that's something that I think we agreed upon that you needed assistance with. Obviously, mom, dad, myself, and any other members of the team. That's something that we would all decide together if there was a situation for that or any kind of an emergency situation. Emergency medicine is my specialty, so I feel like I could be there with you and help you and walk you through those things. You can alert others and seek medical help for serious health problems. I feel like that's one of the questions. And you and I discussed that, and you felt comfortable, reaching out if there was something going on. Do I make choices about drugs and alcohol? Do I decide where and when I go to eat? And you do. And we talked about making healthy choices with your diet plan and things like that. Can I take a medication or as directed or follow a prescribed diet? And you said you would need support with that. So if somebody asked you to follow a specific diet, you and I would sit down and find options for you for food and timing and things of that nature. So I feel like all the questions are very important. And then, the only thing that I didn't see on here was something about your activity level, but we talk about your activity level. I know how much you're working. And I know your plans as far as college and living on your own in your apartment and things like that. So I feel like we cover it, and it may not be asked specifically in that question, but I feel like the questions are very guided and very helpful.
It's okay if you want to share with everyone some of Asheen initial goals we talked about. I don't mind.
Okay, so I know that something that some younger gentlemen struggle with is brushing their teeth, right? So you and I discussed brushing your teeth and the importance of that, and going to the dentist regularly. We talked about, even setting an alarm, because you said sometimes you forget. And we even talked about how Tyler, my 20-year-old son, sometimes forgets, or he chooses not to do it, one of the two. But I know that it's difficult sometimes to remember those things. So I suggested that you set an alarm on your phone to brush your teeth before you went to bed, and make sure you did it in the morning before you got up and got moving. We talked about your doctor's appointment the other day, and how you needed to go to the doctor yearly just to make sure that you maintain that baseline level and make sure that you're taking vitamins and nutrition and nutrients to make sure that you're keeping a well-balanced diet. And sometimes what you may not get in your well-balanced diet, you might need to supplement with a multivitamin. And we talked about that the other day, but the importance of having that baseline doctor's appointment every year. Right now, you're not taking any medications. And we talked about that too, and how if you ever had to be on medication, that we would talk about it and develop a routine for you to make sure that you didn't miss your medications.
If you want me other fans who have a child with disabilities, could you recommend this team? I if you meet other fans who have a child with disabilities, could you tell them about this team?
Yes, I would recommend the team. I wished I had a team of all these wonderful, awesome people to help me make life decisions. Sometimes life is very difficult, and I don't think that it's any different for patients and families that have people that have disabilities in their family. I think it's a really awesome idea. And I think that it gives you the most opportunity for your independence and your chances of being as independent as possible. And I think it's a great idea.
Thank you for meeting with us today. I'll talk to you soon. I can't wait till our big dream team party in February.
I
No
know
more
it's always
cancel parties by COVID.
yes. I loved our dinner the other night. Colby, you did awesome, and you paid for my meal. You wouldn't let me pay for it. I enjoyed our talk, and if you ever need me, you just feel free to reach out. Okay, Colby?
Thank you so much. I
All
really
right. It's good to see you.
too.
Perfect. So we're going to keep moving right along to your next supportive team member, Colby. And I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Lorenzo Brown. And I want you to do the same thing. Use the words that you've prepared and follow along and introduce Mr. Lorenzo.
Hey Wendo, thank you for being with us today. You stay busy at El Devil's dinner. We are so wild you could take time to join us today. Welcome.
Good morning, Colby. Thank you so much for having me.
You too. Wendo, please tell everyone about the Is Several dinner. Then tell us what you do, why you do it.
Well, the Is Able Center is located here in Birmingham, Alabama. And we provide various programs and services that enhance the quality of life, for individuals with disabilities, their loved ones, and caregivers. And I do this because it's my passion. It was a passion that was really birthed out of a lot of pain that I personally went through in my own life as an individual that lives with a disability. And as a person who lives with a disability, of course, I've had to take advantage of all of the wonderful services that are in the community that can help me have a quality of life. But also, as a person who lives with a disability, I kind of had a feel for some things or some needs that I felt also needed to be available for individuals that are living with disabilities. And so I would just kind of take notes of those things and write those things down over the years. And then everything just kind of came together where I was able to bring it and introduce it to the community. So that's how the Is Able Center came about. That's what we do, and that's why I'm passionate about it.
All right, Colby. So I think that your next question for Mr. Lorenzo is what?
I remember when we met 3 years ago. Do you tell everyone
Got
what
another question for me?
I do?
Okay, when we met a little over 3.5 years ago, Colby, I remember when you first came in to the Is Able Center. I think you was pretty fresh out of high school, and you came in and you was really interested and doing some computer related activities. And so I remember uh, starting you on our typing program that we had, and thinking that, it would take you, months to get through this typing program. And the next thing I know is that you had completed the entire things in a matter of weeks. And so it was at that point that I realized just how brilliant you were, and I was just so amazed about that.
Okay. What I did with tell everyone what I did with the typing skills last.
Well, when you did the typing skills, of course, you started off at a beginner stage, when honestly, I should have started you off at the advanced stage, because like I said, you worked through it so quickly, and you was typing, I think like 20 something words per minute, and was hitting about a 99% accuracy rate. And so I was just so amazed by that, how quickly you grasped that. And it just really showed me how brilliant you were, how capable you were at really accomplishing anything that you put your mind to.
Okay. We met at the sport grill by my house last time for our 101 meeting. Can you remember some of the things we talked about in their part of that combination?
Yes, we met at Bob Baumhauer's, and
Yes.
you ate the biggest burger I think I ever seen. I didn't even know how you got your mouth around that burger. But yeah, I do recall some of the things that we discussed. And so we really talked about your spiritual enrichment. And you and I, we spent some one-on-one time, just getting in the word and discussing, a few scriptures, and what we felt those scriptures meant to both of us personally. But then we also got into, some different questions that, I asked you. One of the questions that I asked you was, were you involved in a youth or young adult group in your faith community? And what was your answer to that?
Um, don't remember, but I bought it in Church Small Root,
Yes, yes.
and we do survey with my church.
Yes, you did tell me that you were involved in in a community group that, supported you. And another question that I asked you was, were you supported to express your spirituality in an age-appropriate um, ritual and rites of passage of your faith? And what was your answer to that?
Yes.
Yes. And also, one of the exciting things that happened just prior to us meeting is that you got accepted into a fraternity. Tell us about that fraternity.
I know for the insurer, I give my most of the freshen for spiritual love. Wait. Sorry, I was.
Hey, no problem.
For spiritual love, I said I can reside for myself with no support. But one thing that is emotional for my spiritual love is that I have a mentor who shares the same belief I have, who will hold me accountable for working on this part of my life. Can you talk about how you helped me with staying on top of that?
Well, yes. So one of the things that really stood out to me, Colby, was that your faith was very important to you. I knew that from the beginning, and so once you guys asked if I would be a part of your dream team, specifically, as opposed to your spiritual enrichment and holding you accountable to that. I was very excited about doing that because I'm a man of faith myself. And so just really, discussing with you about staying connected, to a group of others, who share the same faith that you share. Also that you're taking the personal time to, develop your relationship with Christ, that's reading the word, that's spending time praying, that's, practicing your faith in your daily decisions, and so those things, help keeps you accountable.
One big thing our church does every month is a Saturday serve day. One Saturday every month, we go in community to serve people and pray with them. Can you tell everyone about some serve days we have done, how that helped build relationships?
So some serve days that I've done personally, or some that you have participated in?
I participate in.
Well, yeah, tell us about some that you participated in. What are some serve days that you participated in?
Oh, it's saying we have done how to help build relationships.
Mhm. And what are some serve days that you were a part of? Can't recall at the moment.
I helped with Asia Karen.
Okay.
So Colby, you just had a serve day and it was down in Mobile and you met somebody pretty famous. Do you remember who that was?
Asia Karen.
And he's a quarterback for which team?
Alabama.
University of Alabama. That's right.
Who was
So
it?
there and you did a lot of good things. Do you remember that? People you met?
Who did you meet?
I met Asia Karen and
Okay.
his mom.
Well, I think our time is kind of wrapping up, but I want to ask you one last question that we kind of discussed, when we were meeting. And that question was, were you able to participate in a faith based and to make that decision to participate in things that are important to you as it relates to your faith?
So what's the first again?
So one of the things that we discussed when we were together, I asked you, were you able to make a decision, of your practices that were, of your choosing, that was important to your faith?
I read the Bible, pray, worship like every day. And I go to church too and do serve days.
Yes.
Okay, my question for you is when our 581 called us this year, I hope you and I can work together for more serve days and keep making a difference for people in our community. who have disabilities, will you help me to stay involved that way? Do you have any ideas or projects you are working on that I can help with for this time for next year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. First of all, I'm just so proud of the progress that you're making and this journey that you have been on, and, moving towards graduation, and looking to move into your first apartment on your own. And all of those are some very big transactions in your life. I'm so proud of you for taking that challenge on. But most definitely, we're gonna stay connected, and make sure that, you stay spiritually enriched, and then also, here at the center, if you're in Birmingham, you're definitely welcome to come and participate in what we have going on, and assist me in serving, being a volunteer here and serving those that come in to take advantage of our different programs and services. You will be a very welcome hand here at the center.
Thank you so much, Rando. I know you travel and speak about your life and the books you wrote. I think my BYS writers could love to hear your story. Will you think about coming to one of our chapter meetings to speak about one of your books and tell your story?
Oh, 100%. I love to do that.
Will you show everyone the books you wrote and tell us how they can get a copy?
I don't have the copies in front of me, but you can get them on Amazon, as well as at my personal website, Lorenzo T. Brown 76 .com.
Thanks for sharing.
All right.
Professor, you. See you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, okay, Colby, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Lorenzo. We are so excited we get to meet Miss Corey. Miss Corey's up next. She's the amazing role model that we have for other families out there who might be walking in our shoes. She does a fantastic job as Colby's advocacy and engagement support on your dream team. And we're going to get to hear some of the words and the thoughts that you wrote out for Miss Corey. Ready? All right, take it away, Miss Corey.
Hey, Mr. Corey, how are you?
Can Miss Corey hear us? Find her. I don't know if we can hear Miss Corey.
Hey guys, I'm here.
Here she is.
I'm here.
Hey, Mr. Corey, how are you?
Hey Colby, I'm good. How are you?
Good. You are so nice to share this experience with us today. I think you have a lot of common with my mom. Do you think so too?
You know what I do, Colby? As soon as I met your mom, I knew we would kind of be fast friends. But just like all parents, our main goal is for our kids to be independent and happy and be doing the things that they love to do. So your mom and I share that in common.
We met you there at advocacy fence with our state school board in Montgomery a few years ago. We worked together for food issues in our schools. She'd read something you wrote in the newspaper and said she is a smart mom. Then we talked to you some more at conference and fence. So we kept in touch later. We asked you to be on my ring team. You say yes. Could you say yes again?
You know what, Colby, after getting to know you and getting to know your family and the rest of the team, I would absolutely say yes again. Because as I've learned about supported decision-making myself, I realize it's just a fancy way to describe how we all make decisions. I mean, every day as an adult, even when I make decisions, I consult with other people and get their ideas and input. So I would definitely want to be part of your supported decision-making team.
Let's pretend we are back at Bear Red and you ask me the same questions about advocacy engagement. Are you ready?
I'm ready. So we had a set of questions in your life course tools kit binder that your mom helped us put together. And we went to the section on supported decision-making, advocacy, and engagement. We caught up with each other and I asked you questions and you gave me an idea of the level of support that you think you might need as we went through each question. Remember, there was a set of columns and we went through and then you were able to check off the level of support you felt you would need after we talked about each question. You would say that you needed a lot of support with something or just a little bit of support or none at all. So the
Sometimes
first,
I need help to choose people, but if I don't, I want someone on my ring team. I speak up and tell you and my parents I want someone else.
that's right. And you were able to tell me what those specific interests were and how those people were supporting you make your decisions. So do you choose whether or not you will vote and who you will vote for?
Yes, I vote for who I want to vote for, and I don't want anyone to tell me who I could vote for. I can decide for myself.
You made some great points when you and I talked. And do you understand the seriousness or the consequences of the decisions that result in committing a crime? That's one of the things we talked about.
I'm a very good thing, and I try hard to always do what is right. If I make a mistake, it will not be on my purpose. Everyone who know me know what is good person I am. I put a check mark in the race that say I may need a little help to understand rhymes and contradicts.
I remember that. So one of the other questions I asked was, do you sign paperwork or formal agreements or contracts without support?
No, my parents have taught me not to sign my name on anything till they help me understand what I am signing. Sometime I might have to ask you or my lower.
That's so important, Colby. We know that signing contracts is something we'll need support with. Do you decide who you want to share information with and do you understand the difference between private information and information that is okay to share?
I know what is my private information is, and I know not to put anything private online or tell it to people. I need other people to understand what is okay to ask me, what is not okay to ask me.
Yep, those were some of the things we went over that were part of the toolkit. I remember there were a few questions you had for me that were not part of the life course tool set, but related to advocacy and engagement. So we talked about it. That was history. You have a love of history and you have a love of knowing more about nature and society. Do you remember that?
I do like to talk about history and the national change and social in nature and what make change happen. One of my favorite questions is wine. So thank you for helping me to ask why and advocacy for people with disabilities. I think it is a good question to ask. Will you tell everyone about Pad Council Reserve on together and of the important change they can help us to make by doing the app service for parallelity online?
Yeah, so ADAP has a survey for their priorities online. ADAP's PAD Advisory Council stands for Protection and Advocacy for Individuals with Developmental Disabilities. It's a legal advocacy service to protect and promote the civil rights of Alabamians with developmental disabilities. You and I serve on that committee together, and it's comprised of community members, and the majority of those members are self-advocates with developmental disabilities or their immediate family members. The survey helps PAD determine what their priorities will be for the next year. The council meets at least 3 times a year in various locations across the state. And so it's really important for people to go in and fill out that survey so that PAD understands what the priorities are for people in our state and to get a really good idea of where to start and where to focus. Do you have any other questions for me, Colby?
No, I don't.
Well, great. It was wonderful to spend time with you today and talk about what we're working on together. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, okay?
Thanks so much. I
All
hope
right,
to see you again.
thanks a ton, Corey. I'm so super impressed with all that you do with and for Colby. And I know as he graduates to navigate his professional interests and he leans in even more to the difference that he's making in this world, that he's got a great head start with you as his support in this advocacy and engagement role. What you do on Colby's team has truly been a godsend on many occasions. I'm going to share in the chat an infographic that you contributed to Colby's team that it's a conversation starter, gets the conversations toward advocacy and engagement for him off on the right foot, because it talks about all of the things that he can do. It talks about his abilities, his experiences, his interests, and it gives everybody a really good big picture of who Colby is and what his desires are, and how they can support him that way. So y'all look for that in the chat, and then we're going to move right along and try to get to our next set of team members, the Rileys. The Rileys are joining us, and even though they share a role, they are 2 different people, husband and wife. They're friends and neighbors of ours, and we are so excited to introduce everybody to the safety and the security support on Colby's team. So this is Scott and Amy Riley. Colby, will you introduce us to the Rileys and share some of the words that you wrote out for the Rileys?
Hey friends, thank you for being here and during your time with us today. We know you care about me. We want you to share a little bit what you do in car wares.
Good morning, Colby. Yes, I'm a realtor here in Birmingham and I help people buy and sell houses.
Hey, Colby. I started my career in accounting and currently I work for USI Insurance Services. And what I do is I help companies place their major medical insurance and other employee benefits for their employees.
You both support my channels on my safe and carry. We see Mr. Scott know a lot about money, ensuring that largely investment, and Mr. Amy know a lot about real estate and smart homes and saving. Amy, can you share with everyone how we met and what is your first reacting when we asked you to join my team?
Yes, Colby. Well, we have a son that's the same age of your younger brother, and they often were on similar sports teams. And it didn't take long for our two families to be friends. In regards to being asked to be on your team, we are both honored and humbled that we were asked to serve, and we have enjoyed watching you through this process.
Scott, you have both personal experience in this role and festival. I met your sister Erin at a party a few years ago. Will you tell us what it was like growing up with Erin and how it affected you?
Yes, absolutely, Colby. As you know, Erin, my sister, has a very severe form of mental retardation. So when I was young, it was difficult only because people were curious and did not understand her condition. So it was difficult only because it made me angry at times. But the good news is I learned how to deal with it. As you know, Erin needs people to make decisions 100% on her behalf, which is different than the wonderful team you have and the support of decisions that will help you with as being a part of your team.
We all met at Moe's restaurant in June for lunch. We had a list of freshens. You asked me for safe and carry freshens in the life course tools. I give you answers to the freshens, and I have to tell you how much support I think I need with each kind of channel. Can we relay that many for everyone? We feel a feel of those freshens.
Sure, Colby. One question was, do you make choices that help you avoid common dangers in your environment? Like getting through traffic on your scooter and walking to work? Do you make accommodations with sharp objects and know how to use a hot stovetop when you're cooking? And a big one is knowing how to keep your poisonous cleaning objects out of your everyday space. Your answer was that you were comfortable with those situations and really don't need help with those decisions. Is that right?
Yes, I wear my helmet on my scooter. I shut the oven and I know what signs for dinner or important.
That's great. And Colby, another question was, do you make plans for emergencies? And we talked about different emergency situations. And you said you do make plans, you know how to call 911 and when you should call 911, which is great. You know where the tornado shelters are on campus and when you should go to one. And you also know what to do when the power goes out on your AC, if your AC is not working. Is that correct?
Yes, all that.
Excellent. And Colby, can you remember when we said, when we asked if you needed support to understand your rights?
Yes, only need little help.
That's great. And we also talked about how can you get help if you feel like someone is treating you badly or someone does something wrong to you, like charging more money for something where the price tag says it costs more, and also making you feel uncomfortable by telling you have to do something you may not want to do. Do you remember that?
Yes, I know I can talk to you and tell my parents or church pastors.
That's good. The last question we asked was about people. We asked if you had a way to contact your safe people when or if you feel like you are in danger or if someone was treating you poorly. Can you share your answer to that question?
I forgot those questions. Okay, I say yes. I have the number for the city and campus. Please to call where I live. And I have the number for my Lord, and I have the number for Miss Corey, who is my advocacy support. They all know me and will help me if I need help.
Yes, and one big thing we tried to talk about a lot, Colby, is how to protect your money. You said this is important to you because you want to have enough money to live a good life that gives you more opportunities to travel, to stay connected with other people by going to fun places and doing fun things together. Next time we meet for our one-on-one meeting, I'm going to check in and see if you have met any of those savings goals, right? But one thing that really important that we asked about is, can you tell everyone one of those big things you are saving money for right now?
Saving money for bid trips for college graduation. I want to go to Hawaii and California.
I think that's a good thing to save for. Colby, one last question. We know you were about to move into a new apartment and you want to be sure you have a good relationship with the landlord and you use all the smart tech you can. Will you tell us about some of the decisions you have made to help protect your home and keep you safe?
I know where to go to the manager's office and the number to call if sometime happened at my apartment, like a caught up think or scary noise at night. I will use my phone app to check my dated bed locks and the light and the temple. We also asked other tenants who regressed to over to the check in with me to see if I need anything. I do want to find a smart stove oven, revise, and maybe check the smoke and gas leak reactors with a fireman before I move in.
I think, Colby, that wraps up our section with you. I think maybe we'll be able to join you at a tailgate soon.
I hope.
And I hope you get to save your money for Hawaii and California.
Yeah, good. I want to see the coral reefs.
That would be wonderful.
All right, great job, y'all. We are so excited to get him set up in his first apartment. And we are officially inviting everybody down here on the Zoom call and everybody watching and all of his support team over to his apartment for a tailgate party in the fall for football, Alabama football. But to get in, you have to say Roll Tide. Are you in?
We're in.
We're in.
Roll
All right. Roll Tide, Riley. All
Thank
right.
you and well, Taiwan. See you soon.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yes.
Bye, guys. All right, up next is the last team member up for today, and that is Colby's dad. And Colby's dad helps Colby supports his decisions toward employment and daily living. And so this is Steve and Colby. I want you to get your set of questions and answers ready for dad, and y'all just kind of replay it like you did in your one-on-one meeting a few weeks ago. You ready?
Hey,
Hey,
Dad.
Colby. How are you?
Good.
Keith Spencer.
Colby,
Huh?
I want Dad to ask you something next. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you some of the same questions we asked you at the beach, and you'll just give us some answers that you wrote down, okay?
Okay.
All right, you ready? Okay, so do you choose for yourself if you want to work and what kind of job you want right now?
I said I do want to work because I know I am adult now and I have to pay my own way to have stuff. I need do fun things with my friends and pay my own bills, so I have to work.
That's right. Welcome to adulthood, huh? All right, so what about choosing where you work? Do you get to choose where you work?
Kind of. I know if I don't want to work somewhere, I will not buy there. But if I really do want to work somewhere, I will buy there, and I hope they will hire me and pay me well.
All right, so another question we asked you was if you know how to go online and apply for jobs or type up your resume to give to employers. Do you remember your answer and can you share that with everyone?
I need a little bit help with that, but been do it.
All right, Colby. Well, let's move on to so we know you actually have 3 jobs, right? So let's brag on you a little bit here because you applied for Publix about 3 years ago, and you still work there, right? And then during the school year at Alabama, you are assigned a job that is supposed to reflect your career interest as an internship each semester. And you've had several of those. And as if that weren't enough, you also volunteer your time for wildlife management projects pretty frequently. So you work at Oak Mountain Wildlife Center, taking care of the injured birds. You did that for the entire summer last year. And now you're actually working with the Alabama Coastal Foundation to help out the sea turtles. So I can honestly say, watching you grow up, you are one of the most diligent workers I know. So perseverance, positivity are your mantra. or your mantra. If CEOs of big companies could have all their employees possess the kind of strong work ethic you have, this would be a very productive world, I think. So I'm so proud of all your hard work. So a few more of the daily kind of questions. You ready?
Yep.
So first, how's it up in Rhode Island?
I take airframe to Atlanta to Rhode Island.
Yeah. Wow. Is that pretty easy?
Yeah, but the line sucks so bad.
Some long lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So another question. So do you make your own decisions about your daily schedule? So what you do every day, where you want to go, and who you do it with?
Yes, I do. Like go working, fast driving, and 2 chores in the house.
Okay. So how do you handle the transportation to work, or say with fun trips with your friends? Do you have your driver's permit yet? And of course, you
I
just told us how you
do.
got
I
it.
have my driver permit now. And now I get fast driving.
Yeah. What'd you do to get that driver's permit? What'd you have to do?
Take the permit test.
Or because you had to study real hard though to know those questions, the answers to the questions, right? Okay. And then we talked about how you know how to fly on a plane by yourself, right? So you got that down pat. So when you are at college taking classes, working and hanging out with your friends, do you choose for yourself how you want to spend your free time? And then how
Yes,
do you
I
get around
do.
in college?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And
How do
I
you get how do you get around in college?
ride on my scooter, walk, take the bus.
You're pretty independent doing all that, right? All right, okay, so one last question, Colby. It's about money. I know you make most of your own decisions on purchasing food, clothes, entertainment. You said you can do that without any help. So, but do you make all your own decisions on the big money decisions like paying your bills on time, like rent, tuition, sticking to a budget, managing your income or benefits? Do you think you could use our support with that?
Yes, I need wait. Yeah, I need help with money, support too.
Okay. So some of the bigger decisions, you still need some help deciding what's the best decision there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's all the questions I have for you, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thank
I'll
you.
hand it back over to Mom, okay?
See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
Yep, I'm leaving.
Okay. All right. All right, here's Mom.
Good job, Colby. You're doing great.
Thank you.
So I want to set it up and let everybody understand what's happening next. We're going to bring in one of your last team members, Miss Sandy Evers, and that was pre-recorded because we knew Miss Sandy couldn't be here with us today. She had other obligations. So she took the time to come in early and pre-record her session with you. So I'm going to let Mr. Alex set that up and just kind of let everybody watch and listen to what Miss Sandy has to say with the social inclusion support on Colby's team. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Miss Sandy Evers. Sandy serves as the social inclusion support on Colby's team, and she looks for ways to keep Colby's options open when it comes to recreational or social experiences in the community.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim, for that great introduction. Hi, Colby. Great to see you.
Thank you for being here to help people see what you do on my main team.
It is my honor and pleasure, and I enjoy being on your dream team. It is such an honor for me, and thank you for having me today, Colby.
Welcome.
Colby, do you remember what happened when we were sitting at Taziki's outside? We'd gone in and placed our order.
After we sit down, it was starting raining.
Oh, no.
And my school got kind of red.
Yep. Mhm. So, yep, we sat down. Colby let me order first. He was all, used his manners. He ordered, he paid for my lunch, which was so nice. And then we went and sat down outside with our number and started chatting. And then the rain poured. So we quickly ran into Taziki's, and he did awesome getting his stuff together, and he had brought a big binder with him and got all that. And we got into Taziki's and we continued our meeting. I have seen such great progress with Colby in his social inclusion world, if you will. He has just done amazing things. He's an advocate for himself. He knows what he wants. He is a people person and always has been. And he seeks out fun activities that he can do to keep him busy and to be around other people. And that's a great thing. I've seen that blossom in him more and more. He was that way in high school and enjoyed being around all of his friends. And, he was a great cheerleader for Oak Mountain High School in the sense of team spirit. And he has continued that at University of Alabama as well. We're so thrilled he is at University of Alabama. So for people that may not realize, that's not here in town either. That's a solid 45 minutes away from Birmingham. And, he has an amazing support system there at Tuscaloosa, just like he has his support system in Birmingham. So he spends a lot of his time during the school year at Tuscaloosa in a way, and really does a great job getting vested into the social the fun social things to do at school with his friends, as well as here when he's home for the summer. All right, well, Colby, I'm going to kind of like what you and I talked about at Taziki's. We're going to kind of reiterate that or revamp it a little bit. That sound good?
Okay.
Do you make your own choices about what to do and when to do it, Colby?
Yes, I know what I do, but sometimes I need help to win it and decide how I will get there and get back.
Well, so you do, you know what you want to do. You have a mindset of what you want to do. You know your likes and your dislikes, correct? And then, so we also talked a little bit that day. We talked about deciding what you want to do what do you do when you spend time when you're not working?
Hang out with friends and do stuff in the house, the chores.
Right. All right. Well, so another thing is, I know that you said, we talked a little bit about this. We said, Colby, my question was, do you make your own decisions on who to date if you want to date someone? Do you make your own decisions about who you want to date, or does somebody make those decisions for you?
Yes. On the paper, I checked off the comment that said I can decide for myself with no support.
Mm-hmm. You said that pretty quick, if I recall, too, because you knew, like, if that's a person that you're interested in and you wanted to date them, then you would make that decision, right? If you like the person, or if you didn't really care for the person. Do you remember what some of the things we said that like, even when we're talking in the dating world, what were some of the things that you thought were good things in a girl that you liked?
Like, give me a marriage.
Is she marriage potential?
Marriage license.
Yeah. Those are the things you would have to have. And then you and I talked a little bit about what are some of the things that you liked in a girl. Is she pretty? Is she nice? That kind of thing. Do you remember that conversation?
She's be nice and look really well.
Yeah.
And nicer.
Yeah.
Nice to you.
Yep. I remember one thing you said she'd be kind. That is one thing that day you and I talked about, that she'd be kind and have I kind of said like she'd have a great heart to serve others like you do. Okay, so can you make your own decisions? And this was our next question, kind of leading up when we were talking about dating. And if you look there, can you make your own decisions about marriage?
I took the comment that say I may need some support making that, Jenna.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that's a huge decision in life. You may need a little support on the logistics of it. How do you plan a wedding? What all do you need to get married? All right, so are you dating anybody now?
No, but I have a friend is named Abby. She is same age with me. She went to same high school with me at Fountain, and she graduated same year with me. But she is nice, funny, and cutie.
Well, Colby, tell me more about, I know you're at Tuscaloosa, you're involved in a fraternity at Tuscaloosa called BYX. So tell me a little bit about your BYX brothers and some of the fun things you've done at your fraternity.
My BYS brothers is the baby, like I go to shop for minis on Sunday nights, and we go to the skate night and date night and a Hawaiian party.
Oh, a Hawaiian party. Was it a dress-up party?
Yes, we must wear a Hawaiian shirt.
And there were girls and boys at this party?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you meet some of the girls? Did you just go introduce yourself?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit. I know you also want to work in wildlife after you graduate. Are you planning to join any clubs at Alabama that have to do with wildlife or volunteering in any organizations?
The Alabama Coastal Foundation will call me to help rescue sea turtles and release them at the beach.
That is awesome. So you just worked with the Share the Beach project, right?
Yes.
And it was about sea turtle rescue, right? And conservation.
I love it. And I found they lay like 100 eggs. We went to Dolphin Island
Nice.
in Alabama.
You went to Dolphin Island. That's great. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get to be there, but I got to see some great pictures from it, and it looked like you had a blast. That was awesome.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, Colby, I'm super proud of you and all the progress you've made, and you're heading in all the things you do are just onward and upward and in a great direction. And I'm so proud of you and the independence that you have and all the decisions that you've made. And I love that you reach out when you don't know about something. You're a great communicator. And those are lifelong things that you need, that every individual needs. And so you do a great job with that. So keep up the good work, buddy. I'm happy to be part of your dream team.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Colby,
Hey,
can
guys.
you hear me?
Yes,
Can you guys hear me?
I
Yeah.
can.
Dude, Colby, that was awesome, man.
I know.
It was really cool too. And I appreciate you letting us kind of see behind the scenes of what your supported decision-making team looks like and how you interact with them and communicate with them. And I know that you have a great relationship with them and you feel like you can reach out to them and call them or text them at any time if you have questions throughout the day. And maybe sometimes that's a little unhinging for your parents because you're not always going through them asking questions. But I'm super excited for this and what you have and for others to be able to see that. Now I know that you are on vacation. So I appreciate you spending the morning with us and kind of taking us through that. Is there anything that you have planned for the rest of today on vacation that you'd like to share?
I might be going to swim in the ocean today.
Oh, dude, watch out for the sharks.
I know. I don't want to be nuts. Human be eaten by them.
Did you ever see the movie Jaws?
Yeah.
Oh man, don't watch that movie while you're on vacation.
Yeah, this was here. Or I don't know
They
where
filmed it
was
there,
it.
Yeah, it's like the great whites are up there in the little bit colder water. So I mean, you know what? I'm going to stop talking about it. You don't need to be thinking about that.
I don't want to be freaking out about it.
Well, dude, awesome job today, man. I know it was quite a long broadcast and you absolutely destroyed it in a great way. So I'm giving you a virtual high five right now through the camera. Boom. Well, we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast today. Is there anything that Kim or Colby you would like to say at the end here?
Colby, I'm just super proud of you. That was definitely some stretching there, some mental stretching, and you did great with it. I appreciate your effort, and I hope you have a really fun rest of the day. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, buddy?
Okay.
For the audience, all I want to say is please highly consider trying to look into the concept or the idea, the strategy of supportive decision making and teams, and you can make more formal teams or less formal teams. There's different agreements you can look up. Go to lifecoursetools.com to kind of see some of the templates that we use. There's lots of different ways to be to help guide you to be real diligent and real intentional about supportive decision-making team. And at the end of the day, our big why is to provide Colby with the least restrictive environment we can for him toward how he's going to make his decisions. We want him to maintain his own guardianship throughout his life. And we think this is a really good way to do that. So we're excited. And I really, really appreciate Alabama Care coming alongside with us and giving us the opportunity to share with more families out there on how to do it. So thanks.
We are more than happy and very grateful. And Colby, I hope I say on your behalf too, I'm very grateful for your parents and setting this up and empowering you for what is next and, you know, an independent life. So very happy and excited for you, dude. All right. Not going to keep you any longer. Go do some swimming in the ocean. Be safe out there and be safe on your travels back to Alabama. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and see you next time. We'll all give the cameras a wave.